Durag Diaries, yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to the Monday mornings. Yeah, it's Monday morning. The people them snoring, but I come to you to talk Spurs, man. Talk about 3 wins in a row. Something we haven't seen in a long time. But look, before we get into anything, as you can still sleeps in my eyes. It's early morning. So it'd be much appreciated if you can like the video on your way in. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. But 3 wins in a row. 3-point collectors yet again. And I would say it was expected. But I didn't, you know me, I didn't want to push it out there and go a bit too ahead like I did the last time in the Ipswich game. But 4-1 is we need to collect those goals. Let's have it right. I know when I was saying that Liverpool, Tottenham have a better attack than most of the top six, then it doesn't look so wrong right now. It doesn't look so wrong. Second highest goal scorers in the Premier League currently. It might be third behind Newcastle after they played, but I remember the last time I looked at the stat, we were second highest. And are we surprised? Some of us, I mean, maybe. Brennan Johnson with the double. We're going to get into all of that business real soon. But big up to everyone that is inside already. You know, man like Tottenham Ranger, big up to you. Big up Jords, them. Mustafa, you're back. You're back. Okay. I've seen you change the picture a few times. No more Manchester United repping. I hear you. We'll see you on Midday Live, 12 p.m. We will be there. Big up to Mr. Udang. Big up Jords. Congrats on the victory, Jords. Shameless Mustafa here. Wagwan KK, man like King Kriller. Make sure you like the stream on your way in. You are right. 53 goals. 53 goals. It's crazy. I don't know how we're so high, but we're doing our thing right now. Hey. Big up to Drula every single time. One of the realest ones in the building. Good morning, Jords. Like secured. Good morning to you as well. I hope you're doing well. Jords, Johnson is good at the rap. Bro, I remember when we signed him and there was a time when I said he's Raheem Sterling at Manchester City. That's how you need to use him. Raheem Sterling at Manchester City. Back post, you always find him. You always find him. Jords, you see why I said I was glad to see Johnson back now? I hear you, Jay. I very much hear you, Jay. But let's get into that. As you can also see in the title, I know there's one player no one's mentioned in the comments so far, but man like Torfin himself, Lucas Bergvall, I was most impressed with his performance in particular. When I had to look at the game and how it was played out, I felt like there was a lot of decent individual performances. One thing we do have to acknowledge, it was Ipswich, so he's expected to win. And there was a few players like Sonny who had a good game that you would expect to turn up in these ones. But the players that I'd like to focus on, just to start off with, are the young ones. The 18-year-olds, the star boys, the guys that a lot of people have asked questions for. You know, at the start of the season, Ange made a big statement, or the team made a big statement in saying they was not going to sign another central midfielder because they felt like we were covered with Lucas Bergvall and Archie Gray. And with these comments, we know all season long there's been a group of the fan base who, you know, I don't know what we should call them. We should come up with a name for them, but the crybabies, let's just say, of the fan base that when everything goes wrong, they start throwing everything, any single reason. They start getting onto the young players. Where was Archie Gray? Archie Gray isn't good enough. You know, Lucas Bergvall's not good enough, and all of these things. One thing I've always said is young players won't carry you to trophies. And that's right. That's something we can maintain. But in moments like this, where the going gets tough, sometimes it's going to be the young players that pull you through. And Lucas Bergvall and Archie Gray had some standout performances on the weekend. I think Archie did start a little bit shaky. I think in the first 10 minutes, they opened us up. They had far too many chances. Bro, Liam Delap was moving crazy out there. He was moving crazy, man, like baby Bellamy. He was all over the gaff. My man was trying to run down the wing, run the channels, put in an elbow, put in a shoulder. He's causing problems all across that front line. And Archie Gray, he had the better of Archie Gray to start the game off. As we sort of grew into the game, you start to see Danso was having none of it. And Danso started to get in a bit tighter, mark him a bit closer. And we built up into it a bit more. But going back to Bergvall, I think Bergvall done the all-action number 8 job perfectly on the weekend. I've said it time and time again. I feel like we need someone that can do every job in midfield very good. And then we need someone that's going to get all around the pitch in that 8. We saw last season, Pap Sarr was the go-to guy for that. And he seemed to have a really good season, but it ended a bit tough. And this season, I think it's fair to say that he's been a bit inconsistent. He's had some really decent performances and some good cameos like the West Ham at home. But apart from that, there hasn't been too many games where you're looking at Pap Sarr and his on-the-ball ability has been good enough. A lot of people have questioned how good he is on the ball because he can be a bit inconsistent. He can lose the ball a lot of times, and that's not what we need from your midfielder. You need someone that's going to be calm in possession and has got the pausa to sometimes slow it down. We saw in the Brentford game, one of the second goals that we got late on in the game, the build-up was started off with Lucas Bergvall. Again, now on this game in particular, I feel like Bergvall done everything. As I said, Torfin season 1, if you know Vinland Saga, you know my man was moving wrecky. You saw his winning challenges, getting the ball, popping it through someone's legs, playing it through the lines. He's even dribbling. He's getting back on defending. A lot of the times when Bentancur's stepping out of his position, it's Bergvall the one that's covering and running back, and he's getting all over the pitch. Literally. He was like a Doberman for... Bro, the Doberman. We don't call them XL bullies. We call them Dobermans. Because my man's road running. And I feel like one thing that a lot of people questioned him for at the start of the season was, is Bergvall going to be able to maintain the physical ability of the Premier League? Is going to be able to adapt to the pace, you know, the power of a lot of the players? But I don't think that's even been a question this season. I don't even think it's been a question. His tenacity is second to none, never backs out of a challenge, and more time, he's the one bullying players on the pitch. He's a real Viking out here. I know a lot of people were upset when we sold Højbjerg, the Danish Viking, but we've got a real Viking, a real Swede here. The bold one. Yeah? The blonde, sorry, not bold, the blonde one, the blonde kind. You know them way there. So I feel like Bergvall had a standout performance on the weekend, and it's one of those ones where I feel like he can definitely start to build, start to take those steps forward. And as well as him, I think it's only right that we mention the guy who's made the return. Ange made some comments on Friday that he wanted to test this certain player. He left him out of the team because he wanted to see if he had the minerals, you know, to come back in and earn his spot. Man, digger Jed Spence, you know what I mean? Jed Spence, digger D. Yeah, as some people will call him. He done his job. Started at right back, one of his first starts in his actual position. Got shifted out to the left halfway through the game because I think Udogi's minutes needed to be managed. And then even on the left-hand side, he started to cause some trouble and then ended up getting the key goal in the game. Because at 2-1, that game was back and forth. That game could have went either way. Ipswich just scored an offside goal. They were on our necks. And then Jed Spence gave us that little bit of breathing space. A good little give and go. As soon as Odegaard and Maddison and Cole come on, you start to see we get a lot cleaner with the ball. We get a lot better with the ball. We can stretch the game. And that's what happened. You know, Jed Spence on the overlap picked up the ball, little 1-2 with Maddison, and then a cheeky little finish. Yes, it took a deflection, but I don't care. Man, like Jed Spence with his first of Premier League goal, first of many, that is. This has been the statistically proven by who scored best defender in the Premier League in 2025. In 2025, like he's been so good. But that's it, Drula. Bergvall covered a lot of ground yesterday. He was superb. He was so good. Scarlett also had a decent appearance. He did come on and he got an assist right at the end of the game. He seems to get loads of assists when he comes on. Little flick ones. Even in Europa League, he come on and had 2 assists. He's really good with his link-up play. one thing I'll give to Scarlett, he's football IQ. He knows what he's doing. He knows where to be. The little flick-ons, proper centre forward play, trying to do the hold up, dropping in, doing the 1-2s. He knows what he's doing. He just needs the game time to prove it, and hopefully he gets that towards the end of the season. These little 10 and 15-minute appearances and cameos, they'll do really well for him. They'll do really well for him. But big up to Bazza. I've been in many fistfights over Scarlett and Lancashire. I hear you, to be honest. I do hear you. I think Lancashire still has some way. I know that he's been getting some starts at West Brom at the moment, and hopefully he can start to pick up some goals and some experience, because Championship's probably the best place that you can go learn as a young English player. But you are right about this, Mustafa. The lap needs a big move in the summer. But I can't even lie. The move that you're thinking of is not the move I'm thinking of. I'm thinking he might get scouted for the Dana White Contender Series. But wait, maybe that's just me. My man moving like Paddy Pimbley out here, yeah? I thought that he was going to get someone in a rear naked choke. There was even one time when he's out here throwing heads, just straight up head by a danso, cuz. I was like, this guy is not playing football. This guy thinks he's in a UFC ring. Maybe he's in a bare knuckle fight or something. He's going to have to get signed up by Conor McGregor soon enough, because the lap's, he's not a footballer. He's not here to play football. I'll tell you that now. My man's just got ruthless aggression. Yeah, my man's not busting out in time. He's just out here, yeah, using all of his adrenaline to fight, man. That's all he wants to do. He wants to fight, man. But Liam Delap, just like his dad, proper Brexit footballer, just like Gray will be like his dad and granddad. No, I don't feel like Gray's a Brexit footballer at all. When you watch Archie Gray, he's so silky with a lot of what he does. So good on the ball, technically sound. And I feel like one thing that a lot of people don't pick up on what he is really good at is when you've got a 1v1 situation at the back, when he's actually on the ball and he's getting pressed high by by the attackers, he's really good at winning fouls. He's really good at just doing those little turns, just putting it past the player just a little bit, just so we can win a foul, restart the game, reset, and then we can start to build out from the back again. He's really good at those little intricacies of the play, man. He's a smart footballer, Archie Gray. You can tell that he's someone that was born into game, because a proper smart footballer, man. I do think so. Oh yeah, people, it's a Monday morning show, man. Make sure you got your coffees. That's all standard. Coffee, tea, spearmint, all of that. What? Make sure you have your hot drink to get us started, because it's definitely needed. You need to wake up, and there's no better way to do it than a nice little coffee or caramel latte. That's exactly what I have in my cup. You know what I mean? But Bentancur's form has improved, and I feel like it's been helped by the midfield combinations that he's been paired up with. I think one thing that people don't realize is Bentancur, as I've said numerous times, he's not a number 6. He can't play the number 6 role well by himself, because his positional discipline can be questioned. His positional discipline isn't always the best. So sometimes you need a player next to him that can cover the ground. Or if you put 2 road runners next to him, in Kulusevski and Bergvall, 2 guys that link up well together themselves, then I feel like you're going to cover a lot of the space in midfield. And you've got 2 players that are going to put in a lot more hard work in front of him, so he doesn't even feel the need to press forward. Because when you're playing with a Papsar or Maddison, I think both of them, again, they cover a lot of ground, but Maddison's positioning can be all over the place. Maddison can drift off because he's a bit more of a free roam when he's in that role. And Papsar, I think his IQ can be questioned at time, because he just loves to bomb forward on the press. He loves to run, go and press that last man. But maybe he's more of an industrial player, someone that's just going to get there, do the box-to-box stuff. I feel like you probably need someone with a bit more, again, I always say it, probably get bored of hearing it by now, but football IQ in there, someone that knows the game, knows their position, and doesn't just listen to the manager. Because I think a lot of the time, a lot of our players, especially our midfielders, they're bombing forward by instruction on Ange. But if you have someone in there that just knows the role themselves, that they don't need to do a silly thing and just run forward, trying to press all the time, like a Lucas Bergvall, as we've seen, I think that the midfield combines just a little bit better, and we cover for certain man's weaknesses, like Rodrigo Bentancur. But Jords, is it fair to say Spence has secured his spot in the team moving forward now. I do think it's fair to say that. I definitely think it's fair to say this guy has been, I think, 4 or 5 man of the match performances in just a month. Like, he's definitely snatched Poro's chain. That's no doubt. I've said that he's definitely snatched Poro's chain. So good. George, what was Son on yesterday, man? Man was dropping step overs for fun. This is the thing, Zane. And I remember saying this in a show on just before the game on Hotspur Cavia. Big up to man like Jay. Make sure you subscribe to man over there. But I was saying how Sonny is needed in a lot of these games. When you're playing against low opposition side, teams that don't have good 1v1 defenders, teams that aren't going to be ready for a guy like Sonny, whose technical ability is a lot better than most. Although, again, we have acknowledged that Sonny is no longer the same player that he was a few years ago. He still does have a high technical ability. So when you come up against a Ben Godfrey at the back, he was getting cooked. He was getting cooked. Signature Sonny with the 1-2 step over. He was feeling himself. When you beat a player once or twice, especially early in the game, you start to realize at that point, oh, today might be my day. Let me just go for it. Let me just keep doing it. And that's what Sonny was doing. Sonny saw from moments early that Ben Godfrey, it does not want it with him. You know what's even crazier? Spurs were looking at Ben Godfrey in the transfer window. I tweeted straight away, so I said, this is not the guy. He's 4 or 5 years past his best, and he's not ready to come and play at the level of Tottenham Hotspur. And we saw on the weekend, we saw why. Man got stinker and excruciatingly earth-shattering, as man like Lee Gunner would say, stinker and hooked, bro. Man come off at half-time. Kieran McKenna had seen enough of Ben Godfrey. He was asking for God at halftime. I'm telling you, asking God for chances, begging, because he got cooked up by Sonny, you know. But this is the thing with Sonny. When we go play Man City in the week and he's up against a Gavadio or an Akanji, that's when you don't use this. That's when you don't use him. That's when you need to drop Sonny, because he's not going to add what you need in that game. Because he's not going to be able to take them on for pace. He's not going to be able to beat Gavadio because he's a much better defender. But if you put an Odebert out on the left, you put a Tell out on the left, then you'll definitely get more from him. You get more. They can stretch the pitch. And then with that's another player I was going to get onto was Matisse Tell. Matisse Tell. I don't think he necessarily had a bad game. I don't think Matisse Tell had a bad game at all. But I do feel like it needs to be recognized and acknowledged that the way that we play does not suit for a striker like Tell and the way that he wants to play. He's not a hold-up striker. He's not someone that can come into the space, drop in, and have 2 centre-backs on his back and, you know, hold up a man, do a Romelu Lukaku job, try and lay it off and turn and spin. He's not a back-to-goal striker. He's not. He's someone that should be running in behind defenders, playing off of the shoulder of defenders, and then running in behind, using his pace to exploit them in the transition. Our problem is that Spurs don't adapt to the players we've got. We just play our system and hope that the players can fit in their roles. And that is our issue when I'm looking at Matisse Tell attacking. He doesn't suit playing in the middle at all. I said it from the first moment I saw him coming into Spurs, and even in that first game against Liverpool, he's not suited to that role for what we need. Dominic Solanke does it great. I still think he could be better with his hold-up play, but Dominic Solanke knows what he needs to do in that role to get the best out of our players. I don't think that Ange knows how to get the best out of Matisse Tell, and it's a problem for me. It's definitely a problem for me. Mikey Moore's still raw. Yeah, he is raw, man. He needs time to build it. I don't even think he needs time to build his frame, because I feel like he's got a fairly decent frame. He's quite tall, he's quite slender, but he's not necessarily skinny. I just feel like he needs to get used to the men's game a bit more. He's only played men's football at Tottenham. It's not like he's gone on loan at the lower league and learned what it is to play and pick up the physical ability, but also just the sharpness of playing men's football, how quick it is. He still needs time. Definitely a very young player, but he'll be good. He'll be good in time, please. Like, you just got to give Mikey more time, man. All this Namor stuff, like, it was all nice for the moment, but we'll see more of him. He's still only 17 years old. There's no rush to throw him into the team this season in particular. Like, he can build up and then next season come back a bit stronger. But this is it. I think Porro just needs to be bench. I think Porro needs to hold bench. I think if he holds bench for a bit longer, he'll start to work on his decision making. He can see how proper fullbacks play because you're watching football more than you're actually playing it. You're focusing on others and what they're doing, and you start to analyze and break down your own game more. I feel like that's what he needs. He needs some time on the bench to really adjust, adapt, and identify the weakness and holes that he's got in his game, because he's clearly not aware that he doesn't know how to get goal man. He's clearly not aware that he's just a grenade launcher in the middle of the pitch sometimes. Like, he needs to slow it down, take a second, kick back, and realize you're not that guy. You're not that guy. You're not X Factor. I'm sorry, you're just not. But that test stuff Ange said is straight waffle. Big up to you, Adam. You are definitely right, bro. That test stuff was straight waffle. Straight waffle. But big up to my guy, Hyper. Big up to the broski every time. When you bring on Donna, Jords, whenever Donna joins for a call-in show in time, because I saw all the comments, Donna, you've been, oh, George, you left the call-in show and I joined, rah, 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 rah. No, Donna, you joined 1 hour in, and before you even joined, I told people, yeah, I'm ending the show at 10:30 because I've got things to do. And that's all it was. Wasn't running, wasn't hiding, simply you joined too late. So the next time there is a call-in show, which may be this week, tap the post notification bell to stay up to date. You're more than welcome to join, as anyone in this chat is. I do post the link in the chat for anyone to join, so keep an eye out for them call-in shows. And if you want to have your say on Durag Diaries, feel free to join. Feel free to join. Now, man, I've been in fist fights backing my guy Scarlett over Lancashire. Oh, okay. The thing is, yeah, I think it's too early to even compare them. I feel like we've not seen enough of Lancashire in the Spurs. In a Tottenham shirt at a high level. Dane Scarlett, we've seen quite a bit of him, and I feel like sometimes he looks ready, sometimes he don't. His all-round ability doesn't look like he's actually going to be a goal scorer, but he does look like he's a decent player. I think he lands at championship teams and managed to play championship football consistently. I just don't know if it works out at Tottenham, though. I'll be honest. I don't think it does. Well, I'll go on, Donna. I don't know about that. The Lapbro replace Kane is bro, that's a big statement. There's a lot of players in England. That could come up and replace Kane, especially striker-wise. You're seeing Ollie Watkins come through right now. You saw Ivan Toney come through. Like, England does have a good crop of strikers, and they tend to pop up out of nowhere from 1 or 2 seasons. So Liam Delap's had a good season this year. Let's see if he can continue on that run. Does look like a really good player. It depends where his next move is. If he gets picked up by a Manchester United or a Chelsea, his career could be ruined. It could be ruined from there, because we know those teams don't really trust in their young players, and they may not get the opportunity needed. So we got to see. But as man like Fams on TV says, big up to my guy D. Like the video every single time. We've got 24 people in here. We should have at least 24 likes, really. The ratio should definitely be ratioing, because I see everyone that's in the chat right now regulars. You guys are here all the time, so I expect all of you to like the video on your way in. That should be a standard. Yeah, simple. I see Bergvall becoming our new Modric, because he reminds me of a mix of Modric and Musa put together. That's a good shout. It's a big shout, but it's a good shout. I think the one thing I clock with him about Modric is his ability to play multiple positions. And first of all, did anyone see Modric's goal yesterday? Bro, 39 years of age, this guy still has it all. He still has it all. He's so cold, man. Like, genuinely one of my favorite midfielders of all time. He's an all-timer. Scored that goal at 39 years old. Man just chested it. Bang. Throwing it back to... I know some of the people remember his goal against Liverpool, yeah? That's what it reminded me of. On the volley, bang. Rast it. Absolutely rast it. Man like Modric. But Bergvall has the ability. Well, he started off in his young days having the potential and ability to become a player like that. I don't know if he'll reach those heights, Ballon d'Or level and so on, but he does have a lot of potential. Let's see. It's a big shout. Mustafa. I'd have taken Son for Amram's system. He likes to run in behind. He could do. I think Son could definitely be adapted in a certain system. I just think that he's not going to be consistent in the Premier League from a level from years onwards at this level. But I think Sonny can still provide for a very good team. Potential Serie A. He could provide in the La Liga maybe. If Barcelona wanted him, if AC Milan or Juventus, I still think that he could have a good 2 or 3 years at a team like that. So if they do come calling next season, 35, 40 million, I'd bite your hand off, I'll be honest. Take what we can get. I think the thing is, Kang, is we were looking at him before Danso and so on. We're looking at him as a left-back option because he was available on loan from Everton. Because I think it's Everton or Atlanta. Where I think he might have been sold to Atlanta and now he's going back on loans. But we were looking at him as a temporary loan, I can't lie. That's the one I was thinking of, Bolton away. That's exactly what I was thinking of, Bolton. That's the game exactly I was thinking of, not even Liverpool. But he's Tel's struggling just because he needs to be adapted to the system more. It's called misprofiling. You get players to suit the system, not do systems. It's called, bro. Actually, I get what you're saying, but it's not misprofiling. It's not, because if you can study a player when you sign them, and you understand how that player is used, then it's misprofiling if you're deciding to use them out of system, out of that. It's misprofiling if you're choosing to, you understand what that player gives, but you're choosing to use him in a different way. You can say that's misprofiling. Or if he's a player that his profile doesn't even suit the system, then it's misprofiling. But his profile suits the system. He's just being used incorrectly. So I don't think it's misprofiling. I just think there's a miss from the coaches. They're not realizing that he's a better player on the left. He'd be better on the wing. Sonny would be better in the middle, and he'd be better on the wing. I know Sonny done his 2 little assists, but even Dane Scarlett, like when those subs actually got made in that game, first of all, do you know what? I know I haven't said it. I didn't actually get round to it. Big up to Ange. Big up to Ange, you know, because 3 wins in a row. I think in these games, he's shown some tactical adaptability. He actually addressed some of the changes that were required in game and made them at the right times on the weekend. Actually, look, I'm saying it right now. You're a manager. You happy now? You're a manager. Clap your hands for him. I think he made the subs at the right time when he brought off Sonny and Tel. I think he made the right subs when he brought off the first 2 substitutions, which was Pedro Porro and Maddison, when he brought those 2 on. I feel like he reacted to the game state well. So when Ipswich are building up momentum, 65th minute subs, 75th minute subs, and that eventually helped us and leading to get onto those 3rd and 4th goals, which we needed because the game was not safe at that point. So I feel like Ange reacted really well, was brave to take Tel off for Dane Scarlett and throw him in at the time that he did. And Dane Scarlett was, again, as we said, a good performance. A good performance. Some much-needed flick-ons, some good little touches and flicks. And that's ultimately what you need from your striker, someone that's going to do the dirty work sometimes, especially at the end of a game. And I feel like Tel's not that type of player. So Dane Scarlett was the one that come in and done it, and he done it well. But big up to Mr. Battered. My guy, Kane ain't that good. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, big up to my guy Joshua. That Modric goal was mad, you know, bro. Madness. Literally. But yeah, man, like Torofin. Yeah, season 1. Trust me. I'm been saying. Kiwi Spurs, big up my guy, big up to you, my bro. This could happen. That's a good shout, Joshua. You know, Son at Napoli. I know they just lost to Como, man, like Fabregas over there the other day, but Son at Napoli could cook. He could cook. It might be a season too late, though, because I don't know if Napoli is still going to be competing for the league next season. But this is one thing that I didn't address. Big up to my guy like Josh Hayden, yeah? How did we not get a penalty for what happened on Danso? Explain that to me, people. Explain that to me, because far too often I hear rivals, oh, Anthony Taylor this, Michael Oliver this, all of these other refs, they're onto my team, they're onto this. Spurs never get penalties. The past 2 years, we've had like 2 or 3 penalties all season. My man didn't even look at the ball, went into Danso. That was not shoulder to shoulder. That was back to shoulder, straight into the back, fell over. It was a pen every single day of the year, barring Saturday, bro. Like, any other team would have got a pen for that apart from us. Crazy. And I'm not trying to be that guy that cries wolf because we didn't get a pen and we won the game, but Spurs never get penalties, bro. We never get penalties, as Joshua said here. We never do. But good question, Kiwi Spurs, yeah? Good question, bro. Big up to you. Could tell players a 10. He has a similar style. I don't think he can. It's a good question, and I get why you're asking it, because I feel like in the half space or in the middle space between the wings and between the striker and the central attacking midfielder, he picks up the ball and he has good little, give and goes. Like, that's why I feel like he's really well, and he's really good on the give and go. But I have to be honest here. I don't feel like he can do what Kulu does on the ball when he takes it past players, 1, 2, running all the way up and down and then doing the job to get all the way back. I don't think he's that much of a hard worker. Doing the Kulusevski role is hard, man, because especially on the ball, you need to be really good. You need to be a passer. You need to be a quick thinker, because you need to make those decisions quickly. But how could I forget to mention signature Kulu finish? Boy, that's what we've been waiting to see from Kulu. I'd say all season, but we've seen it a few times. But on a consistent basis, he's doing the Arjen Robben, the Saka. Even when Nery's locked it down right now, the cut in and finish from that right-hand side, wrapped it with his left-hand foot to hit the post and in. We've seen that a few times this season, but just need to see it more consistently, because he has that in the locker. He's done that a few times. Norwich at the end of the season a few years ago, wrapped it, top bins. He can do it. He definitely can do it. He has. There's a player in there, a top goal scorer in there as well. Just need to get it out of him. I feel like he needs a manager who's really gonna extract that part of his game, because it just needs to get more goals at times. Just needs a few more. But how that wasn't a pen was beyond me, man. Honestly, I still don't get how that wasn't a penalty. Let's see. Conte will bottle the league. I hear you. I don't think he will. I don't think Conte does bottle the league. I know it's very close right now at the top. Inter Milan are on their backs and they could be coming back, but at the same time, I think Napoli in a fairly decent position that they can push on and they'll pick up their wins when needed. They'll lose a few of the smaller games. Penny all day long, man. This is the thing. I don't know if it's me. Someone check the stat, yeah? But I genuinely believe we've had, look, Joshua got the stat. Big up to Josh Hayden. In the last 5 seasons, we've had 17 penalties. The rest of the teams, Liverpool 34, Chelsea 37, Arsenal 30, United 29, City 40. This is what I mean. I thought I was going crazy and thinking Spurs don't get penalties no more. Under Kane, we used to have penalties every other game. When Kane was here, Sonny, there was always penalties 5-6 years ago. The last couple years, 17 penalties. There was a season when Manchester United had 14 in one season, bro. And you're telling me that we've only got 17 penalties. We've had 1 in the last 2 years, or maybe 2. That's crazy. That's crazy. On it, we generally never get a penalty. The ref was terrible from the start. And VAR said it was a shoulder clash, so it wasn't classed as a pen in their eyes. Of course, VAR never intervenes and helps Tottenham out. Never. Never happens. But thank you, Kiwi, man. Big up to you, my bro. I mean, I wish I could find how many touches in the opposition box each team's had in the last 5 years. I think we're up there, but the least pens. I know in this season in particular, Spurs, when it comes to touching the opposition box, are one of the highest. One thing I will say, in the last 5 years, we haven't really had many technical wingers. So it may be a case of our technical... When you usually win more penalties when you have technical wingers that do little drops of the shoulders, flicking it past players to win fouls. I feel like we actually haven't had those players a part of our main squad for the past 3 or 4 years. But that still doesn't mean we shouldn't have some. Like, we should have more than 17. I can count numerous of times on the top of my head that Spurs should have had penalties. So many bad challenges. And on the weekend was just another one. It was so obvious. It was so obvious. That's the thing, Mustafa. Kulu's been our player of the season. I don't think he can play the 8. I think Bergvall does the 8 well. He can play an advanced 8, sort of just ahead of them. But I still see his role as a 10. He's definitely not predominantly a right winger. He starts off the right wing here and there, but majority of this season, Brennan Johnson's played off the right, and when he's been available, or someone else has been off the right, and Kulu has just been deployed there to fill in the gaps. But his best role this season and his best games have come in the 10, and even on the weekend, he started in the 10 again as Maddison got dropped. So I think it's one of those ones. His best position is definitely the 10, but he can adapt. He's always going to be able to play multiple roles. That's just him as a player. A crazy stat is in Romero's entire career, he's been given the same amount of direct red cards. That's crazy. Do you know what? I'm using that one on the stream. My guy Boris. I'm using that one on the stream because I get told that Romero is a headless chicken, just overly aggressive, just a South American Sicario and all of this. But I've always said that I actually don't think he's that dirty. I watch so many games where Romero might give away 1 or 2 fouls. Romero rarely gets a yellow card. It's just when he does get one, it might be back-to-back yellows or it's straight red. But he hasn't had so many red cards. You are right. I think maybe 2 red cards at Tottenham. I really don't remember that many. Yes, sir. Well, it wasn't just only you and United didn't win. There was a lot of teams that didn't win this weekend. I mean, it was only Tottenham and Liverpool that picked up points. So I had the top 6. I mean, you don't want to see me in them rival shows. You don't want to see me in those rival shows because it's going to get long. It's going to get techie. Most definitely going to get long for certain, man. They're not ready to see me hop on there with my chest, yeah? After 3 wins in 3. They're not ready. They're not ready. But I'll be there, Mustafa. I'll be there. Don't worry. I am there. Yeah? Cass? Not ready. Not ready for me. Saeed? Not ready. Not ready. Lee Gunner? Best show his face on Midday Live. I'm telling you now. I'm ready to cook. Yeah. George, you know what still pisses me off to this day was when Newcastle got a pen. Oh my bro. It's mad because I was literally just thinking of that one. When we was talking about the penalties, the first thing that come to my head was when Dyer jumped up last minute of the game and they got a penalty. I remember that season we were getting done in by VAR all year, these stupid handballs. We would have finished way higher if we didn't get done in by those games. Stupid refereeing decisions killed us. That one does my head in, Josh, bro. That one does my head in. But yeah, literally that, Tottenham Ranger. 2 red cards since 2022, and I remember both of them. It's only yellows he's had between 24 and 26 yellow cards, and that's either 1 or 2 cards a game over 3 whole years. Fairs. That's pretty good. Not too sure, Donna, man. Not too sure. Again, as you guys see, I tend to put in my schedule and put the shows in like a day before, the night before. So you generally just have to stay notified, man. Again, tap the post notification bell and you see whenever I'm going live. Or you can just check the channel once or twice a week and you'll see I'll probably upload it. Maybe sometime this week. Generally don't have a day for you, but they are usually at the night time around 8:30, 9 o'clock. So keep that in mind. There's a few Premier League games this week, so it definitely won't be on Wednesday. Tuesday night, we've got boardroom talk, so it won't be that day. It may be on Thursday. But again, can't make a promise on that one. We might, now I'm thinking about it, a call-in show might be tight this week with all the Premier League games, but we'll see. It's FA Cup weekend, so we might be able to get a call-in show on the weekend or maybe Friday night just before Trench Talks. It'd be so funny if Ange gets manager of the month as soon as his players come back. It'll probably be Moyes though. I think it will be Moyes. I think it will definitely be Moyes. Moyes has a current record of 5 wins, or 4 wins, 1 draw, 1. I'm pretty sure he's no losses. Maybe 1 loss. Was he unbeaten? Let me check. I think it might be David Moyes. I think Moyes is definitely more deserving of it, looking at his position since he's come in the league. He's been in the Premier League for 1 month. He's beaten Tottenham. He's beaten Manchester United. Well, they drew against Manchester United, sorry. They beat Everton. They obviously picked up a point against Liverpool. They also beat Leicester, beat Brighton. He's had a good cameo in coming in. They've lost 1 game in FA Cup. 1 game in FA Cup, but apart from that, unbeaten. So no doubt about that. It's going to be David Moyes for Manager of the Month. You got to as well. You got to. Big up to the vibe. Good form ahead of City. You know what that means. And L on Wednesday, when Spurs were in bad form, they always beat City. Do you know what's funny? Yeah, I've actually been mad confident for this game going into it. But like you said, 3 wins in a row. Are we going to get 4 wins in a row against City? I don't know, man. Especially City have dropped Haaland. I don't know if people saw it. Manchester City have dropped Haaland. They dropped Haaland to keep him fresh legs for Tottenham. Have you not? This is how much we rattle Pep Guardiola. They want to keep my man having fresh legs, so when he comes up against Tottenham, he's ready. Because they know that's the only place they could potentially get 3 points. So they already lost hope against Madrid, lost hope against Liverpool. Yeah, man. I'm not looking forward to this game anymore. I'm not looking forward to this game. They're going to be like itching for revenge, been clapped up 3 times in a week. Yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Big up, Jords. Did you watch a gal picking? Bro, that's an old video, Mohammed. That's an old video. And yeah, I've seen that video so many times. I've gotten to a gal about it. Like, we'll see. A gal's going to be on one of my shows today. I'm going to be on with Husam on A-listers on Don Husam's channel tonight at 9 p.m. I think it starts at 8, but I'll be there for 9. If a gal's on there, we're cooking. A gal is getting cooked. Just know that. He's going to get cooked. Definitely this, though. Ange has Pep shivering. Hey, Jords, you seen Arteta's stats versus Fulham and West Ham and Villa? And I think Villa got a crazy bad record versus... Bro, I just know that he's lost the league against Fulham and West Ham in consecutive seasons. That's what I know. And we're going to ask Hooks about it. So make sure you guys do join back at 2 o'clock. Make sure you do join back at 2 o'clock because we are going to be here. We are going to be asking the tough questions. Man like full-time Crooks is not going to be ready for what I've got coming for him because I've got some stats. I've got some quotes, things that he said, things that his managers said. And I'm ready to put him to the sword because it's crazy how guys can get away with saying, oh, you think Tottenham are going to win on my birthday? What? No. You think that Arsenal are going to lose to West Ham on my birthday? What? No. We're going to, dish it out to them. Allow all of that. Yeah, allow all of that. North Divide, we want all of your excuses, all of your crimes to be answered for. He needs to answer for his crimes. He's been taken to court. He's been taken to court. On all counts, he's guilty. Guilty on every single count because he got every single prediction wrong. Wrong. Did he have an injury? Fair, Drula. Fairs. I didn't actually know he had an injury. I just heard that he's been dropped to the bench. So I was like, okay, if he's been on the bench 2 games in a row, he must be getting rested. But if he's got a knee injury, fair enough. Fair enough. Makes sense. But it's definitely in this case, man. Big up to Jacob with regards to Manchester United. That's what we call it. We call it Manchester. Oh, well, you think that Tottenham are gonna be? They're gonna be Ipswich on my birthday? What? Are you mad, bro? West Ham are gonna be Arsenal on my birthday? Yeah, bro. I stream of Hook so much that I'm just used to hearing him. but he's been sent to jail. Trust me, he's been sent to jail. But look, guys, I'm gonna send you over to Fam Zone TV, the bros, them man like Dean putting the champagne on ice, he's getting the league ready. He even put the hashtag 20 in the title. He put the hashtag 20 in the title. So the Liverpool fans are already counting their leagues. They're already celebrating. So show some love to Fam Zone TV over there, because I'm going to be on Never a Foul, the usual 11 p.m. show. So if you want to come watch me, come over to Never a Foul. Then we're midday live. And then we're back over here in North Dividing, back-to-back shows. But big up to everyone that has been tuned in. Big up to Drew. Big up to Mustafa. Big up to Joshua. Big up Spurs for Life, Tottenham Ranger. Everyone that has been in the building for the show. Make sure, again, drop a DRD raid. Well, I think Dean's an uncle, so you might need to do a straight Durag Diaries raid in there, because he's not going to know what's going on. But make sure you like the video on the way out, like Scott said. And in a coma, we'll be back at 2. So anything I've said now, maybe addressed at 2 o'clock. But most importantly, Hooks is going to trial and he's going to answer for his crimes. You know them way there. So big up to everyone. Like on the thing. See you on the next show. And hope everyone has a good Monday, man. Peace.